today possibly us, yeah. Right, so this is now on YouTube. We are on the go, on air now. Okay, David.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Lovely to see everyone again. As usual, Ajahn invites me to say a few words by way of introduction. I think everyone knows this is the Varapunya Meditation Center now, so I won't repeat that. And Mindfulness Monday, of course, started at the Health Village all those years ago, maybe 4 years ago, almost as a drop-in for patients, for visitors, for the public, to find out a little bit more about mindfulness meditation. And of course, we've developed quite a bit since then, running the Mindfulness Mondays every year now for 4 or 5 years, one way or the other. The courses, the retreats, which some people have enjoyed and come along to. And so I was left thinking, what can I say that I haven't already said before? And just talking about the range retreat there reminded me of something that was discussed at a course I was on a few years ago, which I think is actually quite relevant in the modern times. And I was just mentioning the range retreat, which we celebrated at the center yesterday, Vasa, originally developed in Asia because the monsoon rains were so heavy. First of all, the monks would find it difficult to wander the countryside in the wet and the mud without catching a cold, I guess, if they were in Scotland, certainly. Secondly, the concern that people would the monks would tread on animals and insects on the ground that had been washed down. And so part of the range retreat was to avoid killing sentient beings, even tiny insects. And I think the third part of it was also partly to avoid all these thousands of monks wandering the countryside, treading on crops that would then be damaged. But it got me thinking about one of the precepts that we have in our teaching. I think you've all heard me say in the past that there are certain principles of ethical living, and we're not here, of course, to teach morals, but there are certain principles of ethical living that support our mindfulness meditation practice. And I've talked about this on the courses for those who have been on the course. And these are, for example, not to kill any living being, not to engage in sexual activity that is harmful to yourself and others, to not take what is not given, commonly thought as not to steal, but it can be as simple as someone lending you a book and not giving it back again. Not to take substances that are harmful to the mind. And of course, we generally think of drink and drugs, that if we take those to excess, can be harmful to our mindfulness in everyday life, and often get us into trouble as well, of course. And it reminded me of this course I went on a few years ago, when one of the nuns that was teaching pointed out that if we selected any one of these ethical principles, just one. For example, not to kill any living being. What a difference that would make to all our worldly lives. Um, for example, we know we have a huge problem at the moment across the whole of the UK with alcohol and drug abuse. And the centre is working with a charity in Aberdeen at the moment to teach mindfulness meditation to people who are in recovery. And so what a difference to our lives it would make if there was a commitment to avoid alcohol and drug abuse, because that leads to mindlessness. It's damaging to families, children and spouses. It gives rise to theft, often causes accidents because people drive while under the influence. And what this nun was saying was, never mind 5 precepts. And in fact, the teaching is, pick one that we believe we and others would benefit from. So if I struggle, for example, with wrongful speech, if I know that wrongful speech is one of my weaknesses, then she was inviting us to pick one of these precepts and simply focus on that as part of our ethical living. And just reflecting on that yesterday when we were celebrating Vasa, it did strike me that this was quite a useful message to send, not just to ourselves, but to the wider world. But of course, starting with ourselves, because the Buddha invited us to begin with ourselves. There's the story of a monk who thought he could fix the world and came back 5 years later and realized he couldn't fix the world. And then it was the continent, and 5 years later he discovered he couldn't fix the continent. So then went to the country and thought he could fix the country, and discovered he couldn't fix the country. So decided he'd come to Aberdeen and fix Aberdeen, but then he discovered he couldn't fix Aberdeen. And he went back to the monk eventually and said, I've not been able to succeed in any of this. And the monk said to him, maybe start with yourself. And I think that's quite a useful message at this time as we're coming out of COVID. Who knows, we may end up back in it again. But just reflecting on ourselves and what part of our own contribution in terms of ethical living we could make that would have an impact not just on ourselves and others. And I was reminded it again yesterday because at the house here we've had a huge wasp nest, absolutely massive wasp nest, right next to one of the windows. And there was this huge ethical dilemma for me. Do I do what we normally do with a wasp insect because it's a danger to ourselves? They were coming into the house. Or do I just let it be? And life gives us these choices all the time. Life gives us all these choices all the time to choose what to do in a particular situation, how to speak, how to act, how to react, how to respond. And this is as much of our mindfulness meditation practice, of course, choosing our right speech, right thought, right action. This is as much of our mindfulness meditation practice in everyday life as is sitting on a chair or a cushion practicing our meditation at 6 o'clock in the morning, which I know you all do faithfully. And so with that thought, I'll leave it to Ajahn to continue. He's probably thinking, what can I pick out of that I can talk about? and I know he'll find something.
Okay,
Yojan.
so thank you very much, David, for the reflection and the story of fixing the world. And so, talking about the rain, I remember being here in Aberdeen for such a long time. Let me mute everyone first, okay? Being here in Aberdeen, I come across with the rain so much, and this rain, and always be prepared. Whenever we go out, we are prepared to deal with this rain. And again, we normally check the weather, and nowadays, first conversation will be starting from the weather, how wonderful weather is. And if you don't know what to speak to anybody, just say, oh, what a wonderful weather. Oh, what a horrible weather. Oh, it's raining, isn't it? Uh, how is your side? And that's how the conversation rolls in. And throughout this time of rain, I never experienced deeply with the rain. And even going up into the Akiengrom every year, a couple of times, there is a fear of the rain, and yet we prepared for it, and then still not fully shocked by the rain. And there was a 1 year, I think it was about 15. I went up in Kiengrom, just left the pool of D, and then the pouring rain falls. And I was like screaming out loud in the middle of nobody, like talking to the sky and saying, yes, finally, now I am having this rain. And it was such a wonderful feeling that I had, the wonderful moment. I was full of joy and happiness with this rain. And there was a sense of a thought that I was wearing a proper gear, so I don't need to worry about the rain. And I was so happy. Now this is finally, I have a chance to um, be with the rain. And after that, throughout this time of walking towards Aviemore, I was like very happy, but I was fully shocked by the rain. And I was reflecting this rain that if we accept the situation, doesn't matter where we are, whatever we are doing, the old difficulties will not be a problem. The problem is that we do not accept. And then from the small bit of a problem, we make it a bigger problem. From no problem to more problem. And then further on, if there is nothing to do, no problem, and we feel bored. So we need something to keep us active all the time. So that's why we try to find so many other things. And we're always in a rush and thinking to do this, thinking to do that, and never stopped. And always there is a fear of, oh, what happens if this, or what happens if it's not that? So those fears are still going with you. And then as a result of that, we cannot feel this happiness. We cannot feel this freedom. Now, practice of a meditation is, as we know, and I've been quoting and repeating again and again, first thing is to realize that what's happening, whatever is, simply aware of that. No need to worry. That's it. And the second is acceptance, accepting the reality of it. So now here I'm using the rain word, what is R-A-I-N, rain. Yeah. So second word is A for acceptance. Accepting that this is happening. And I, your intention. Watching your intention to things that you are coming across. Whatever emotions and feelings that you have. And that moment, the moment when you have observed them, what is your intention about it? And you may have heard David normally refers, no big deal. Huh? No big deal. And that is the exact what mindfulness meditation practice is about. Seeing things as they appear, realizing that this is happening at front and in our minds. Seeing those proliferation, seeing those commentaries, the storytelling, realizing that and accepting that, okay, this is happening. So this rain word, you can use it to deal with the distractions as well. When distraction comes while we are meditating, realizing that my mind is distracted, accepting that distraction, watching your intention. Yeah? What are you thinking about this distraction? And that defines whether you are making it to a big deal or no big deal. And here is your reaction changes the whole scenario about the things. And here this links to the previous sessions that normally we see things and then we immediately react, but we normally do not see our reactions, our activities towards it. Do you remember ABC? A is seeing things and B is our proliferation or interpretation and the C is a reaction. And a person who do not practice meditation will just see only two moments of this ABC, see only A and a C, not the B. And whereas a practitioner will see this whole three principles, the A, B, and a C. And with that, nothing is big deal. Everything is, it's okay. Everything becomes normal. Right? So that is the main objectives of the practice of a meditation. And with this, we will be able to watch our mind very carefully, which direction we are going to, which path we are taking to. And each direction or a path that we take, that brings happiness or unhappiness. So happiness and unhappiness is our creation. And as I said early on, nowadays, as David also said, that this is a rain's retreat time. If it's in Asia, Southeast Asia, then fair to say it's a rain's retreat. Here in Scotland, we should call it a summer retreat. It's a summertime. And yet we maintain the tradition simply to follow some of the guidance and practicing. And David pointed very clearly here about the destruction of monks traveling, destructions of plants because of the monks traveling during the harvest time. People were complaining about monks. Oh, how monks there they are. This is a harvesting time, and why you are traveling, destroying these paddy fields. So this complaint came to the Buddha. That was the one reason. And the Buddha said, okay, monks, you better stay. And meanwhile, there was another story that during this monsoon time, different insects will come out and then intentionally or unintentionally will be stepping on and killing so many insects. And people again complain, oh, these monks are supposed to be a peaceful monks, and why they are stepping on the animals and killing the animals. So that's another reason as well. Yeah? And meanwhile, there's another reason why people talk about the monks were that, oh, in other religion, monks will not travel during the monsoon time. They will stay in one place, so that their followers have got an opportunity to come and learn the Dhamma, learn the teachings and practice. Look at these Buddhist monks, always traveling, always wandering, no use at all. So these are the complaints came to the Buddha, and the Buddha set up that, okay, monks, you better stay during the monsoon time in one place, giving an opportunity to householders to come and learn the Dhamma, and meanwhile take this opportunity, you better improve yourself. So that is the story behind why this the Asala Puja, we call it Asala Puja, which was this weekend, yesterday and day before. And in this whole scenario is basically to learn to know things as they truly are. And I use this, what David used, the rain. So I use this as an acronym. R for realizing what is arising. A for acceptance, doesn't matter what it is. Do not deny it and do not try to push that away. And then intention, so watching your intention carefully. And then nothing is a big deal. All you need is to know and to see as they appear while we are here and now in the present moment. Okay? So with this in mind, let's practice meditation, and then later on we will have a discussion. Okay, so take your seats on properly, sitting in a comfortable position. As you hear the gong, you can close your eyes and meditate. Okay. Don't leave all your responsibilities aside. Bring your attention to the body, which is here and now. And relax. And spend some time on the breath, incoming breath and outgoing breath, at the nose or at the abdomen rise and falls. As you are watching, paying attention to the breath, incoming, outgoing, if any thoughts arises at the initial stage, discard them. Just come back and be with the primary object, the breath. Consciously aware of the phenomena that arises. Breathing in, breathing out, rising, falling. Breathing in and breathing out. Consciously aware that this is breathing in, this is breathing out. And this moment, watching how much our mind is making stories and proliferating, making a film about certain things, the thought of the past, the worry about the future, and telling the stories. Even just a small thing will make it a big thing. So always making sure you make a mental note of it. Whatever you're making in your mind, always remember ABC. Our mindfulness is like a lens focusing on the object that we are seeing. Seeing it clearly, not a blurred view. Seeing clearly changes our perception, changes our attitude. And we will be able to see the world in its own way rather than as we want it to be. The moment when we change our perception towards the things, towards our experience and emotions, the whole things will change. The chemistry of the body also change, chemistry of the mind will change. So breathing in, breathing out. Nothing is big deal. Everything is okay. All what we need is to realize, accept, looking at your intention, and no big deal. And as you hear the gong, come out from meditation. Okay. Right, so thank you everyone. And now this is a time of a reflection and a sharing and questions. Now this is the floor. Okay, the floor is open. You can unmute and ask or share your experience. Once again, we have Dr. Sakya from Slough and Vijaya from Southern Sea joining with us. Anyone? Yes, Carmina?
Yes, I quite enjoyed that, Sujan. But what was on my thoughts was when you was asking me to volunteer for personal journey, and I was thinking of when it's going back to after, well, we've had 3 lockdowns, is it? Was it 2019 when I
Yes.
was traveling to China to go to Vietnam, but the first day we got there, we stopped in Thailand and asked a taxi driver if he would take me to a temple, because I'd not long had a session with David where I'd got my certificate, and you had appeared so that you were there, so I was happy. And the taxi driver decided to take us to this temple, and when we got there, I just asked one of the monks a question, and it was your friend, and I'd followed in your footsteps, and it was a temple that you'd been, and I even saw your other master. I couldn't believe it, because the next day we were off to Vietnam. I just couldn't believe it, how fate did that. I traveled all the way from Aberdeen to follow your footsteps without knowing it. So that is my personal journey, which I am grateful and happy for. Gratitude.
I remember my friend sent me a picture of you, and you were holding my book, meditation book. And then
Yes, I was
say,
reading it on the plane.
and my friend was telling me that, oh, your student was here. And then, who? So he sent me a picture of yours as well. Yeah.
Best day of my life. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, this personal journey, actually, I am trying to have as many as possible every Friday at 6 o'clock for 1 hour. Is just like a friendly discussion on Facebook and on YouTube. It goes on YouTube as well. So friendly discussion about each individual's personal journey and how meditation is helping. So that is the personal journey. And if anybody wants to volunteer, just tell me. And then we will have this friendly conversation for 1 hour and sharing. Emma already said no bluntly without thinking. Right, okay. So anyone wants to share on your practice or any questions or any difficulties you have? And again, if you want to have this 1 hour sessions every Friday, any Friday, if you're available, just let me know. Thank you.
Ajahn,
Yes,
can I ask something? Is not related with this practice just now. Is last night I had like an unusual experience. That is kind when we are focused on our breathing. It was kind of, if it was not me breathing, I don't know if this makes sense. It's like you are not in your own body. I don't know. I don't know if this makes sense. So it was not for a long, this kind of sensation, but it happened. So like I was wondering, like, does that mean that I am just ruminating in a lot of things, and suddenly it doesn't look like even that is even me breathing? Like, which kind of thing is this? I don't know, because it never happened before, and it was not for a long. It's again when you acknowledge what is going on, is just gone. So yes, I just wanted to share that and ask which kind of thing is that. Sorry.
Okay.
You.
Thank you. So no need to worry on that. Okay. As you develop your mindfulness, and gradually you able to see that the body is one thing, your mind is another. And then further on, you will be able to notice that the body is breathing on its own way. We don't have to intervene with it at all. As I have said a couple of times, or in the past, I used to say as well, that a number of people that don't know that they are breathing. Yeah, they don't know even where the breath is. So after learning how to meditate, and they suddenly realize, oh, I am breathing. That's not that they are breathing at that very moment when they began practicing meditation, but they've been breathing for a long time. But what will change that now I have to breathe. So after you learn how to practice meditation, you will have this thought of, now I have to practice meditation, so I have to breathe. And there will be a thought of controlling the breath, and you're following the breath. So your mind is fully on that breath. Right? So, and while we are meditating, your mind is absorbed with that breath, become a mindful of it, and then gradually you kind of playing with the breath itself. But it comes into a certain stage later on that you see the breath is on its own way is breathing, and the body is on its own is functioning. Right? So it's a conditioning itself, and then you will be able to recognize that. And I see Tiago is behind your scene. So no need to worry. When you experience that, just watch it. And as you said, when you recognize that, acknowledge it, it just goes. It just goes on. Yeah. So it goes on, it disappears, and that's simpler because your mind is in the present at that moment. Okay? So no need to worry on that. So continue paying attention to it. It does happen later on. You will be able to see the body is one thing, mind is another, breath is one thing, and knowing is another, and like that. And those moments, if our awareness, we call it sati, yeah? Sati is not at the present moment there, then can cause this doubts and worries. So no need to worry. All need is the recognition of it.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay. So, Emma, do you have anything to tell us your practice? No? Are you been doing walking meditation at home? Oh.
No, I haven't, because I've hurt my back again.
Again?
Yeah, I'm going to the chiropractor tomorrow. I keep putting my back out. I've got bulging degenerative disc disorder.
Okay.
And so that's sore back, so I've been cranky.
Oh.
And so
Gary, you have to take her for a ballet dance.
Was that a ballet dance or a belly dance? Either, yeah.
Either or.
Yes.
Okay, so anyone wants to share any practice or anything that is concerned? Okay, David. Unmute yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Just going back to what Karina was saying. Quite often in my practice, Ajahn, I have an experience where I'm trying to how to describe it. My breath is breathing because it knows how to breathe. My body's with the breath, almost like it's with it, but it's not with it. And I'm able to observe that. And I was going to ask, because you were saying there about the breath is the breath, the body is the body, the mind is the mind. But is it not the case that by observing the breath as the breath, by observing the body as the body, in an odd way, we come to see how connected they are, the cause and effect, the interdependence. And it's a bit like unraveling an onion. You only begin to see the totality of the onion if you unravel the layers. And my experience has been a little bit like that on occasions. It's only when you see how things really are, when you are able to observe the breath as the breath, the body as the body, but the mind then observes not just the totality, but the mind observes the mind itself, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, that will, yeah. So first thing, what we see is the distinctions. Each individuals are different. So that's first thing we will be able to distinguish. Initially, we do not know that these each individuals are separate things. So whole things are working together. But as we develop our awareness, then we see that each individuals are different. each things are different. The breath, the body, the mind, the feelings, each becomes different. And then after seeing these each in things are different, later on we will be able to see that each are interlinked, interdependent, and connected. That's why we see. And then with this connection, further on, as our awareness develops, what will happen there, that each thing are again subject to conditions, arises, remains, and vanishing. And that is the further up realization as you develop your awareness goes on, right? So it's going into the subtle details of how each things again manifests and disappears. And this is a same principle will apply to every situation that we are in, every emotion that we have, every feelings that we have. Normally every emotions, every feelings, and every incidents and every situation, we take it personally, subjectively, and as a result we think that this is for me, this is me, and this is happening. And that's the reason causes a lot of trouble and misunderstanding, and that perception brings unhappiness. Whereas a practice of a meditation will gradually helps us to recognize that the feeling is one thing, body is another, my mind is one thing, feeling like that. So when we gradually see that all are interlinked, and then sometimes the feeling is affecting our body, other time body is affecting our feeling. So we see the interlinks, interchanges, and all depending on one another. And here, this seeing this interdependent or depending in one another as like an onion, like how this is peeling. And so you see layers after layers, and then eventually the stage we arrive, it's okay. Whatever is, it's okay. I know this. Like that. And you will be able to, okay, that's fine. No big deal. Yeah. So no big deal. We'll be able to smile at it. Doesn't matter what it is. And so that is the beauty of the practice of a mindfulness meditation, releasing from and having any attachment to anything. And that begins from ourselves, our feelings, our emotion, our attachment, and then eventually even to our own this relationships and this a connection to our own life. And so whole thing becomes precious, and we will be living every in a moment of a life that we have skillfully and enjoying every breath. So these stages will do come, man. And there will be another stage, kind of, I am enlightened being now. Yeah. So it's like a super cool guy I am. I have nothing to worry about, and I am fully enlightened, and I can let go of everything. But yeah, there is always big but. Capital B is at front. Like that will come, will appear, will experience those. Yeah, what's your all need is just like, that's why nothing to do, nowhere to go. All what you need to do is to enjoy. I am breathing. Wonderful. That's it. Okay. Okay. Anyone? Kathleen, you want to say something?
No, I'm quite happy with my practice. I'm trying to do it as often as I can. Even sitting in the park on a sunny day, I can just sit and meditate, and I feel so much better. So I'm working on it. I'm on my journey, but I'm it's taking time to get there, but it is improving all the time.
Yeah,
and I'm happy
good.
with it. And I feel much better for it. I feel more relaxed, a happier person because I'm doing my meditation.
Yeah, good. Very glad to hear. Practice makes perfect. Huh? And then a practice makes to realize how beautiful to see this change. Yeah.
Yes.
If nothing change, it brings bored, suffering. When there is a change, then we feel happy. They say that if you look at the waterfall, do you know why waterfall is so beautiful? Have you ever think about it? Why waterfall is beautiful? Why do you think waterfall is beautiful?
Maybe because
Emma?
it's moving and changing.
Yeah, Emma, what do you think? Why waterfall is beautiful?
Yeah, I think
Because
because it's
it's nature.
moving and changing in the water, it's a living thing.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Sorry, Emma, what were you saying?
What did I say? It's Mother Nature's way of changing, and I love waterfalls. I'd love to stand at our waterfall right now.
Yeah.
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 Mother
So,
Nature at its best.
yeah. So waterfall is
Soothing.
beautiful because of the flow.
Yeah.
Because of the flow, it's beautiful. And when there is a flow, we feel relaxed. So because of the change, we are enjoying. What is not enjoyable is we don't want things not to be changed. We want to grasp on the things. And that is the cause of a trouble. And the practice of a meditation is to seeing that change and enjoying with that change and saying, oh, I already knew that for a long time, doesn't matter. So you will be able to let go of that. And you will be not holding on to that feeling, oh, I want to keep this, or it shouldn't be changing. Yeah? There is always a flow, always flow. And we learn to know and live with this flow. And that brings happiness, and that brings relaxation. Like if you are being with somebody for a long time, doesn't matter how much you love that person, eventually you want to go away. And you'll be saying, oh, I need my time. Yeah? So you need a change. You need a change to feel relaxed and get the happiness. So that's why there's always flow. And meditation helps you to see that flow and enjoying with that flow. I like the Thich Nhat Hanh says, rather than thinking the time that you are giving to somebody, think that that is your time. And that's how the meditation helps. So that is the practice of a mindfulness. Go with the flow. No big deal. So today's topic is no big deal. Okay. Anything? Anyone? That Dr. Satya? Yeah. Anything you want to share?
I'm just listening one day today. I'm just thinking about the phone call I had from Ratnarak Sahib, so I'm just listening.
Okay. Right, Margaret?
I just had the window cleaner just now, and he announced that I have a wasp's nest beside my bathroom window. And he said, well, I kill it. And I said, no, I don't kill anything. So he's very surprised.
Okay.
You're very brave. Wow.
Well, I was brought up in the country. We never killed anything. No insects, no animals, nothing.
Okay. So, okay. Vijaya, do you have to unmute? Do you have anything to share? I will come to Alison before we do the practice of meditation. Vijaya?
I would just say that today you actually, normally I have found that with the Monday sessions that you talk to us a little bit, sort of talk us through, and today you didn't, and that's where I still I was interested to hear what Kathleen was saying, that I still find that quite difficult when I'm on my own to get my mind into the right place where I want to be to get the most out of what I'm trying to do, because because I don't have a guide taking me through it. I have to do it myself, and I find that my monkey mind it's quite difficult to tame. I guess, as you say, practice makes perfect, so I'll just keep on going and hopefully get there. I don't know if you have any suggestions about how to still the mind so that even without a guide, one can make some sort of, find a quiet, still place to meditate, to mindfully meditate, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I mean, it's stilling that voice. I mean, maybe Kathleen's obviously, I mean, I try most days. Maybe I try too hard. And some days are better than others, that's for sure. You know, some days I can have 10 minutes that just really works. But sometimes if I try and progress that longer, that's when my head starts getting in the way. I don't know if there's an answer or whether I've just got to keep on trying.
Well, basically, you know, we have to try on, practice and try, and then gradually we notice the differences and see the practice. And now, when you ask about the guidance to practice regularly or a place, it is always good to sit with another person who is practicing. It encourages us to have a quiet mind and help us to sit and develop meditation. That's why our center, center is always good, where you will be coming in and practicing with the monks or other members, and automatically you can gain the calmness. You know? That's why the beauty of having a friend practicing together is very important. And the second, now if you don't have it, then again you can have some this guidance playing behind the scene, and you just sit down. But most importantly, you have to check your motivation, that why you are meditating, and what is your intention of the practice of the meditation, and then your dedication. So you have to check your dedication, that are you really committed to practice it or not. And during this dedication of meditation, that how long you're going to dedicate, you have to make sure that, okay, is it 5 minutes? Is it 15 minutes? Is it half an hour? So fix that one, and then forget everything. Doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't mean that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes, you will have a calm state. No, you won't. Like me, for half an hour, it's my resting time. It's just like in the past, you have to warm up the engine before you drive away, like that. So half an hour sitting is like my warming up time. And after half an hour gone, and suddenly everything will just become aware and able to pay attention to and able to know those mental states and how it works, and like that. That's for me. Okay, I'm not saying you should do half an hour like that. And some days before half an hour, from the beginning till 1 hour, was like a fresh. I was able to be mindful, everything what's happening, what's going on, like that. But most of the time, in my own observation, what I have realized is that half an hour is like resting time. So I will be resting my body, resting my mind. So I will be sitting there. And some days I thought that I am mindful. I was aware of it. I was going into such a trance that I am, when I look at the videos, so going back and look at some videos, live videos, and I see I was dozing like this. So that's half an hour time mostly. But after half an hour, I noticed that my mind becomes sharpened, and I be able to notice the things, what's going on, like that. And 1 hour, and 1 hour is comfortable for me. And if more than 1 hour, again, then you will be able, I will be experiencing different pains and aches. Now I will be struggling with the pains and aches. And again, I have to check myself how long you're going to continue after 1 hour. So there will be a limit of, okay, 10 minutes or 15 minutes or just the 5 minutes. Okay? And I make that decision. And during this decision time, I will be working with the pain. And this pain, and a physical pain as well as a mental pain. My heart will be beating, my heart will be piercing, and my thought is saying, my mind is saying, oh, it's all, you have already sat for 1 hour. Why you want to sit another 5 minutes? Yeah, it's enough. You're torturing yourself. You have a pain problem, you have a knee problem, you have a back problem. The thought starts to rumble there, and we'll be watching those thoughts again and again, because I have already said that I'm going to sit for another 5 minutes. I will be sitting there. Okay? I will be sitting there, and sometimes I may have to open my eyes, but I'm sitting there for 5 minutes. So that means hour and 5 minutes, like that. Okay. So with this practice, and gradually, and you will see. So that's what we have to check our motivation, our intention, and our dedication, and then how much benefit that we have received out of practicing this 5 or 10 minutes. And gradually, this momentum of the practice brings this calmness and happiness. And do not look for something that, ecstasy or sudden enlightenment. Just continue doing it. And that's why this monthly, this practice, at least I feel like I'm helping you to come back, at least of this 1.5 hour, coming here, practicing and listening how to develop the practice, in a way helping you to gain. So David wants to say something.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was just reflecting, Ajahn, on what Alison said at the beginning. I think she said I think you said, Alison, for 10 minutes it really works. Something like that. And then the opposite of that is it doesn't. And I do remember in the early discussions we had on our course, we talked quite a bit about not having expectations, not judging your own practice. Because as soon as we create expectations, it'll be good or not good, it'll work or it'll not work. As soon as we do that, it's human nature to then judge the practice afterwards. And you said, I think you said, maybe I need to stop trying.
Mm-hmm.
Or Ajahn did. I'm not sure. And maybe there's a key in that. Sometimes we sit down expecting our meditation practice to be just like this or just like that, and we create an expectation at the end, whether either happy or disappointed. And even I have to remind myself all the time that meditation is just observing what is when it is. You know, without having expectations, it'll be like this or it'll be like that. And if we sit down, it's life, isn't it? When we have expectations, you know, people suddenly thought, great, we'll be able to go to a green country and enjoy a wonderful holiday, or an amber country. So they have wonderful expectations heading off to Greece or Spain. And 5 days later, it's red. And everyone's running around like mad trying to book flights back before they have to quarantine and blaming everyone else. And meditation's a little bit like that. If we create expectations, we expect to be happy or disappointed. And my observation would simply be, as Ajahn said, decide the time, 5, 10, 15 minutes, and just be with the breath. Just be with the breath and observe what happens when it happens, without judging anything.
Thank you, both of you. That was very, very helpful. That really was very helpful. Not to expect. When I said giving up, I didn't mean stopping meditation, but just, well, I suppose, yeah, learning to accept and not look for miracles, but just accept what is what is happening, and for that at that particular moment. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome, Alison.
I'll stop on mute now. I'll shut up now.
Me too.
Right. Okay. Then I have to speak. Okay. So with this, let's practice loving kindness meditation. Okay. To finish off today's practice. And thank you everyone for joining today again. And sorry, Bizaya, I was. Are you saying something? Sorry. I invited her early on, and
yeah, today is my second day, yeah, for this practice, and I'm really enjoying and learning how to be happy with the flow.
Okay. Okay, good. Right. So let's practice loving kindness to finish off today. And thank you, everyone, and wish you all the best, and continue practicing. And as we know, every month on a Monday, last Monday of the month, you can just join in, and will be a same ID, same password, same time, same person, but the subject may be not same. Okay. Okay, with this, let's practice loving kindness meditation to finish up. Okay, and again, if you need any help or support, you can email to me or email to David, and we can discuss about it later. Okay, right. So as you hear the gong, find a comfortable position and practice before we practice the loving kindness. So relax yourself. Feel the body. Noticing any tensions around your brain, in your body. Tensions in your shoulder. Tension in your brain. Relax them all. Nothing to worry, nowhere to go. Just to be you and yourself in the present moment, here and now. And as you pay attention to your body, breathing in and breathing out takes place. Feel the breath in your nose or in your belly. As it rises, as it falls, as it comes, as it goes, realizing it, knowing, and mentally make a note of it. Whatever phenomena is that. Breathing in, breathing in, breathing out, rising, falling. Accepting whatever is there. Do not reject, do not grasp, just accept that this is happening, this is arising. Simply knowing. An intention. What is your intention about that particular things? No big deal. Let it go. Thoughts arise. Know that. Let go. Breathing in, breathing out. And bring your attention to entire body. Observe the sensations. What are the sensations there? Bring that attention to your hands, observing the sensations in your hand. And to your heart, feeling the beating heart. And if you can't feel the beating heart, physically smiling will connect you. So smile. Bring smile in your face and feel the connection with your heart and generating loving kindness and compassion to yourself. I am well, I am happy, I am at peace. Feeling the joy, feeling the serenity, feeling the blissfulness. Allowing yourself to be happy. And similarly sharing loving kindness and compassion to all other sentient beings, whatever beings there are, visible and invisible beings, person next to you, in the house, in the community, in the country, on earth. Starting from near dear ones, wishing them to be happy. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be at peace. Whatever beings there are, may they be happy. May they be at peace. May they be free from suffering. And bring your attention to your eyes, feeling the tension in your eyes, watching your intention to turn on, opening your eyes, coming out from meditation. And as you hear the gong, slowly open your eyes and back to normal. So thank you everyone, and wish you all the best for the whole month, and we'll come back and see again next month, last Monday of the month. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Very much.
See you
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Emma,
Bye-bye. Bye-bye,
Alison,
everyone.
and Kathleen. Bye.
Sorry, Bhante, I was late. I was talking to Ratan Daksar.
It's okay, no worries. Yeah.
He's not really well.
Oh.